Welcome back to the Patrick Lane Show, where we talk about personal finance, investing, and real estate. And today, guess what? GameStop is reporting its Q4 earnings. So what does that mean? Do me a favor, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring a little notification bell. We really appreciate your help in growing the channel, and it's been a great journey so far. Thanks for helping us to continue. Now today, we all know March 23rd, that's when GameStop is going to report its earnings for Q4 of 2020. And by the way, there's some confusion out there about when exactly Q4 is. Q4 for GameStop actually ended on January 31st of 2021. So they run their fiscal year a month behind, essentially, from the calendar year, which is fine. Companies can choose whatever their fiscal year that they want, and they've chosen to include November, December, and January as their Q4 for their fiscal year. So when we're looking at the numbers, we've got to keep that in mind, that their Q4 numbers are going to include the lead up to Christmas, and then they must see January as an extension of that Christmas retail buying spree. So just keep those numbers in mind. It also might help us because if you remember, all of the hype about GameStop and GME started really in January. That's really when it ramped up. And so we may not have caught some of those gains if there's some sort of loyalty among investors to go use GameStop and up their purchases from GameStop because of their interest in liking the stonk. Then we wouldn't have caught that if the GameStop Q4 ended on January the 1st. But we may catch it in their revenues because of the way their fiscal calendar runs. And Q4 didn't end until the end of January. So with that being said, what does it mean? Well, first of all, I find it very interesting that on the day that GameStop is going to release their first earnings report, since all of the hype around their stock, all of the turnaround news, all of that sort of thing that we've talked about before with Ryan Cohen of Chewy taking over, moving people out, moving new people onto the board, getting this whole turnaround strategy from brick and mortar to e-commerce moving and in full swing. On the day they're going to announce those, they also announce that their Chief Customer Officer, Frank Hamlin, is resigning or going to be terminated at the end of the month, March 31st. And so that's an interesting development. You know, we talked a little bit about when John Bell, their Chief Financial Officer, was resigned or terminated when his employment ended, either way. And so what sort of a message does that send for GameStop going forward when their Chief Customer Officer, the person who's in charge of the customer experience, the loyalty, the all of the forward customer-looking aspects of the business, resigns by the end of the month and is going to be replaced? Well, it's very interesting, I think, because one of the things that Frank Hamlin was the head of and development for was the omnichannel experience for customers. Now, omnichannel is just a big fancy word that means that every time that a customer touches GameStop in one way or another, it should be a seamless experience. So whether you walk into the store brick and mortar, whether you go to their app, whether you order online, whether you order through third-party vendors, whatever that case may be, you should have a seamless buying customer experience through that whole process, no matter what avenue you choose. And so that is an omni-channel experience for the customers. Well, obviously, if Ryan Cohen and GameStop are going to make this transition from brick and mortar to e-commerce, they're going to want that omni-channel experience to be top-notch and to be seamless across every possible way that GameStop could touch its customers, could engage with their customers. And maybe, just as with John Bell, we can read the tea leaves and find out that either Hamlin wasn't producing up to this point, or maybe Hamlin's vision differed with what Ryan Cohen and the rest of the board going forward are going to be looking for as far as an omni-channel e-commerce experience for the GameStop customers. So that's an important and interesting development that happened at 6 or 7 o'clock this morning before trading opened on the day that GameStop is going to release its Q4 earnings report. So just something to keep in mind. Now, as far as the numbers themselves, we also have to go back and realize that the earnings per share estimates are at about $1.35 per share. Now, that has been trending down according to analysts since October. In October, people were estimating it to be about $1.80 per share. For one reason or another, all the analysts are thinking that the earnings per share are going to trend downward to $1.35 instead of that original $1.80 back in October. Now, that doesn't take into account the fact that, in early January, GameStop reported that their same-store year-over-year holiday sales were up 4.7%, and also during that time, their e-commerce online sales were up over 300%. So how the earnings estimates are expected to drop from 180 to 135 at the same time that you have positive news about the turnaround. You also have positive news about holiday sales being up 4.7% and e-commerce sales being up over 300%. I don't know. You'd have to talk to the analysts about that. And that is before all of the hype in January surrounding the stock itself. And we know that the large portion of people who are buying the GME stock are the gamers who are actual customers of GameStop. And so in my mind, and based on what I've seen on Wall Street Bets and other forums, I'm thinking that a lot of these people buying the stock are probably also going to be buying some products from GameStop to help with those revenue numbers. So I would expect that it's not going to drop from the 180 to 135 as analysts expect. Now, I don't know. I'm not a stock professional. Don't take this advice. I'm just some rando on YouTube. It would be hard for me to believe that all of the hype happened at the end of the holiday sales jumping and the e-commerce sales jumping, and it didn't help to boost the revenue per share. So we'll see what comes out this afternoon. It's going to be an interesting day, at least. We're going to be able to see some action in the price today in anticipation of it. That'll be interesting to watch. And finally, tonight, it's going to be the first earnings report after all of this transformation from brick and mortar to digital e-commerce powerhouse has started. And don't forget all of the hype around owning the stock itself. So do me a favor, leave in the comments down below what you think is going to happen, whether you think the earnings per share by the analysts is correct, or what you think is going to happen this afternoon when they're released the earnings report after hours. Leave your comments down below. Do me a favor, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, and ring the little notification bell, and we'll see you in the next video.